And our 2-minute warning guy, Brian North, is pre-gaming in the newsroom.
Yeah, the Pizza Hut 2-minute warning, Wes. And sometimes we have to have product placement in these things, right? But we're happy that football is here, and we're feasting on a lot of highlights tonight, and we're going to get you started with a couple of games before we really get into the Blitz. How about Jones Senior, with only 19 players, traveled to Northside to take on the Monarchs, and, well, Jones Senior, boy, they play hard and they'll take on all comers. But Northside had a lot of new names we're learning, including Lacey Williams. Lacey with the nice run. And then it's going to be running back by committee. How about the nice jaunt? And look at the power by Terry Van Loo. And that would set up Lacey at the goal line. And just like that, Northside in the lead. And John Davis, the former Jones coach, says, all right, big boy, I need you to go and eat. And he did just that. That's Dawson Leisure, a leisurely sack, and there you go. Northside gets the shutout of Jones Senior by the final of 46-0. Meanwhile, Beargrass, second year under Brian Pascal, hosting Lejeune. And how about those Beargrass Charter Bears? Running that wing tee, and they love to do the inside handoff. Watch it go right up the gut, and just like that, Beargrass out to the quick 22-0 lead. And they go on to get the easy win over Lejeune. So another great start for those Beargrass Bears. Well, we've got a lot more coming up, including some pizza. The Temptation. Oh, man, that looks good. You know who likes to eat? Referees. And we're doing the Zebra Zone this year. Check out some Zebras, including Henry Rice in his 25th year of being a referee. And here is him tonight.
Just love working with the children and being out here and being part of the ball game.
Passion, baby. What's your favorite part about opening night?
Walking on the field.
Yeah.
The lights.
We're coming up on the Blitz, including Henry.
Football! Oh, News Channel 12!
Our long national nightmare is over.
Hey!
Football is back.
Bring it on!
The 17-week quest to win a state championship starts tonight.
Let's grip for football!
On this week one edition of the Blitz. North Pitt has a new coach, but the same old rivalry game with South Creek.
Hey, you two down!
Havelock and West Craven continued one of the best backyard brawls in Eastern North Carolina history. And it was speed versus power as heavyweights Jacksonville and Southwest Oslo threw down at the Bird's Nest. Well, this is going to be better than Fortnite Battle Royal because it's real.
The Blitz starts now!
Here we go again. Football is back.
And we are just going to jump right into it. No easing into the season for some teams. Two of the best went head-to-head tonight.
We got a crowded desk here.
Take a deep breath.
Bojangles, our sponsor here. But hey, it's our Barber Hendrick Honda Blitz Premier matchup featuring these two teams. The Pumpkinheads of Southwest Oslo reloaded from their Eastern Regional Final team. The Stallions galloped a few miles to Jacksonville to take on a really fast Cardinal team. How fast? Justin Benton, the quarterback. You got to try and keep up with number 7 right up the gut. 56 yards on the option, making it 21-7 Jacksonville. Charlie Dempsey trying to regroup with Derek Green, who was having a little bit of a back issue. Then a bad punt, and watch this. Whoops! Oh, takes him out. The referees say he touched it, a muff punt, so Southwest Onslow kept it. Matthew Barker to Antonio Simmons. That would set up a touchdown. Cut it to 21-14. We got ourselves a game. 28-14, that is. And the horseshoes are up, but Dakota Marshall says maybe the rings. Hey, you owe these rings that are up. Yeah, state championship rings. Then Justin Benton says, well, maybe we'll get a ring this year. 150 yards passing for Benton. More than 100 yards rushing. He finds Graham Brinker, who had a huge game, cuts back for this touchdown. And then they were starting to pull away. Chip Williams, the old Jacksonville offensive coordinator, showing off his Blitz shirt and saying, you know, anybody can call good plays for this Jacksonville team because they are fast. Check out the nice punt return by number 10. And that was Tamir Brown, and that sets up Razzle Rady, who stretches across, and the route was on. Jacksonville with the statement game. They're pretty pumped. Sincere Finister didn't even play. Sincere, what do I call him? Sinister Finister, not Sincere. I'm sorry, Sinister, my bad. 40-13 was the final. Bo Williams bailed me out.
Thought we played really well tonight. We got after a good, great Southwest team. I think they're going to have good things coming the rest of the year. We got fortunate tonight. We had a couple of turnovers. We were able to bounce back and make some plays after that.
Justin Benton.
Yeah, he did a real good job reading tonight and running the option really well. And then he threw some, had some good passes. Graham Brinker, I thought, did a great job tonight. Stepped up and carried the load for us tonight. And some other guys too. Rizell Rainey played well, and Tavon Fonville.
So, Northside or Jacksonville, next up for them is East Duplin, another big game for them. Let's check on those Panthers as they visited their rivals at Richland. The Wildcats, back into their third year under Coach Boley, they're fired up. They got those brand new white helmets with the shiny decals, but East Duplin, they've got fancy decals too, and they got a pretty good running game. The inside handoff, and that's going to go to Devin Hunter. The Hunter becomes the hunted. And he wasn't hunted. And no, he never caught. He's a free animal. Coach Boley says, no, that's not supposed to happen. Let me check my sheet again here. How do we stop this? Here we go. One more time. Keon McLaren for East Duplin all the way down to the goal line. That's going to set up the touchdown by the workhorse, Laquan Brown, and East Duplin gets the easy win over Richlands by the final 63-12. North Duplin coming off a trip to the 1A state championship. They hosted rival Spring Creek. Could those Gators chomp down on them Rebels? No. North Duplin is going to run the option until the earth ends, and they're going to be successful with it until the earth ends. That's Saul Mendoza who scored, and then how about some defense? Them Rebels, they took care of business. They chomped on the Gators tonight. Final score, 42-14. North Duplin looking like it's reloaded and ready for another run.
Wallace Rose Hill is a four-time defending state champion. And once again, the Bulldogs are reloaded with a bunch of new names, though.
But they look like the same guys year in and year out. Gillespie, Kennedy, Williams, you name it. They travel to Warsaw to take on rival James Keenan, and hey, the Tigers back to their striped helmets. We love those helmets. They won 2 state titles with those helmets. But Wallace Rose Hill's won 4 in a row with just that stellar talent and running game. But here comes James Keenan. Oh, they get on the board.
Jalen Faison.
Faison with the nice catch, and here comes James Keenan again. Highlighter yellow uniforms, and they score again. This time, number 1.
Devan Harris.
But Wallace Rose Hill, final score from James Keenan. Wallace Rose Hill would come back and get the win 58-23.
Can't doubt those Bulldogs.
Tarboro, the defending 1AA state champs. Let's just pencil them right in again, right? They visited Plymouth to take on the brand new Washington County Panthers.
I love their helmets, too.
Consolidation of Plymouth and Crestwell. There's their fancy new helmets they have, kind of like the Carolina Panthers. That's how we'll remember the name. Deshaun Webb is going to fumble, and they're going to recover for the touchdown, and there he is, the man who will wave that flag 1,478,000 times this year. Then Tarboro's Kamaine McDaniels to Zion Brooks.
Look at that.
You know, Tarboro didn't even have 2 of their best players who were suspended for the first 4 games, and they still rolled 49-6. Tarboro looks like a title contender again. Riverside and Bertie held their rivalry game in Windsor. The Falcons looking for their 3rd straight win in the series. Bertie's Isaiah Williams says, you know, I'm tired of all this talk.
And you know what? He's going to throw it to Jamari White. And watch Jamari White. That corner is nothing for him. Just puts him down.
Takes it in for the score. Just like that, Bertie says we're going to end this 2-year losing streak. And they say, yep, here we go. One more time.
Brandon Beach, what about him?
He's headed to Gardner Webb next year. The big boy can run it and he can throw it. And he's going to go all the way, but Bertie is going to break that losing streak. Coach Mizell pretty pumped up as his team gets the win 34-28 and a good old-fashioned shootout. Hey, we're just getting started here on the Blitz. We've got a bunch more highlights to show you, but first, let's go back out to the Bird's Nest where we have our Superior Metal Structures fans in the stands, and they are pretty pumped. The Cardinals are flying high. More on the Blitz coming up in just a few minutes. We're jumping right into the deep end in week 1. So many great rivalry games.
Yeah, Havelock, West Craven. So much history, especially in the last few decades. Clay Jordan, Wilbur Sasser, so many great games against each other.
Now it's the new younger generation of coaches. Cousins Caleb King and Mike Twitchell, matching wits. They met at Clay Jordan Stadium in Vansboro. And well, Havelock, Last year they jumped out to a big lead. Wes Craven, they stuck around. Cam Hutchinson doing his thing again, diving over the pile, so athletic. Wes Craven trying to come back, going through the air. Clay Jordan loves to air it out, but Havelock has so many good players, including Carmen Hoover. Mr. Hoover sucks it up, and then Anthony Harris headed to Tennessee, probably as a safety, but he's showing he can throw it as well, finding Drew Daughter, and the band would play on. Who is that young lady in there? I think that might be our chief photographer's daughter playing. And Cam Hutchinson and Havelock, they would be playing around with Wes Craven. They get the win over those Eagles by the final of 48-20, so they look like they are great once again. Northeastern made the trip from Elizabeth City to Pitt County to take on D.H. Conley. Both teams with ECU recruits, and both showed out tonight in a wild, high-scoring game that the fans would love. It didn't finish till almost 10:30. D.H. Conley, they're going back to that wing T, and they're trying to find whoever they can to score. That includes
Nick Brown.
Yeah, old Nick. But you know, Northeastern has Mr. Freshwater, and they also have Mr. number 3 for Northeastern, and that's
Aaron Harris.
Aaron Harris. Well, there you go.
Freshwater had 3 touchdowns, I
Well, here's your guy that's going to ECU, C.J. Johnson, coming up big down the stretch, tie things up for D.H. Conley. Isaiah Gamble down on the goal line is going to be stuffed, and that was your last play of the game as Northeastern held on to beat D.H. Conley by the final of 42-34.
I did hear, though, that C.J. Johnson had his ankle wrapped, but he did run through it, and he was
great.
okay.
Freshwater played great. South Central played great last year. They also have an ECU commit in Jeremy Lewis. He and his Falcons expected to have another good season.
And they packed up the bus, made the short trip to Snow Hill to take on a Green Central team that lost 2 1,000-yard rushers to graduation. But then you have Cornelius Smith for the Rams. He cuts back for the TD. That made it 7-0 Rams, and the voice of the Green Central basketball team is out there trying to be heard out there.
He's loud.
He is loud, and Brandon Gilbert loud on defense. A lot of pressure applied early on by Green Central's defensive front, but Andy, too, had the last laugh because his Falcons defense shut the Rams out in the second half. They scored 18 unanswered to pick up the 18-14 win.
Meanwhile, Southside, they traveled to Aiden Grifton, Littlefield. Aiden Grifton returned several key players from last year. They hosted a Southside team that didn't return any starters on defense, and AG taking advantage with that ground and pound and also some pretty good defense as they come through and they pick up the fumble, and just like that, they're going down to the goal line, and that's going to set up Balake. Blake McLawhorn, the touchdown pass to Jeffrey Gunter. That's what they call him, Balake. Yeah, it's his nickname. Aiden Grifton, no problem. How about a statement win for the Chargers? They pick up the 62-0 victory. Balake.
Wow.
Interesting matchup between Farmville Central and Kinston.
And senior Kieran Hooker under center for the Vikings, and he looked good. But it was number 6, Jaden Whitfield, out of the backfield with a great run, and he just keeps going, rolling all over defenders. But the refs actually rolled him down, and I'm telling you, Brian, he never touched the ground.
I believe
it should have been a touchdown.
I believe you.
Ryan Gieselman believes us also, but he's like, okay, we have Kieran Hooker, who eventually, with the pass to Carrie Pitts, and that's a touchdown. 4 touchdowns, though, for Hooker tonight. Combined, just on the ground and in the air. He was just doing it for them. Kinston wins 28-23.
East Carteret looked good during the 7-on-7 summer season, but the Mariners had a tough challenge against a much-improved Washington Pan-Pac squad. Let's take you to Choppy Wagner Stadium, where Sam teaching the kids how to spin balls. Because that's what Sam does. He's a legacy and an icon in Washington, and handed it down to the kids. Meanwhile, Washington playing some defense. Remember, East Carteret had a great 7-on-7 season? Well, check out the nice interception by Washington, and then they're going to come right back down the field, and they're going to go to the air, and they're going to score, and just like that, they roll to the win thanks to Montrese Selby, who scores. Pan-Pac puts it on East Carteret 46-6. John Blank really turning that program around. West Carteret also returns several key players this season. They hosted Southeast Raleigh.
And Josh Plisco leading the way under center and just catch us out. The throw, the touchdown. Plisco, come on, breaking news, they celebrate. West Carteret comes away with it by the final of 17-0.
We've got a lot more highlights coming up on the Blitz, so stay with us. been a fun rivalry night of games, but wait, we have more.
Shocker!
North Pitt, new helmets, and South Creek, neighbors along the Pitt-Martin County line, and the Panthers have a new head coach in Greg Watford. And there he is, coaching them up in what was going to be a fantastic finish.
And Isarian Belango gonna get things started with this run. Look at this, up the gut, and he's just gonna keep going. The stiff arm too.
Greg Watford's a good coach.
Woohoo! And then the next play, the QB sneak, typical. But you know what? It works. The fans get hyped up about it.
So North Pitt had the lead, right? And here we go on the extra point.
And it was 25-24, North Pitt in the lead.
Hoping to get that win, but here comes South Creek. Very end of the game. They're going to get down to the goal line. 1 second to go, and they're going to get it across, and they win. 30-25. Greg Payne was there.
It was a big-time victory for South Creek as they were playing a 2A opponent. Now, I spoke with the coach about the importance of getting this first game at home, and especially a special gift on his birthday.
Kids right now are ecstatic. I mean, it's huge for the program to start 1-0 against a 2A program. Last year, they just blew us out week 1. But just a great way to start the season.
Next Friday, North Pitt is going to try to get their first win at home versus Kinston. Now, South Creek is going to try to go 2-0 versus Perquimans. Reporting for the Blitz, Greg Payne, News Channel 12.
Congratulations to Will Farrell and his headless horseman, his finger that lost the finger.
Hey, Greg, nice to see you make an
More
appearance.
new head coaches making their debuts tonight. North Lenore's Jim Collins making his debut in Wheat Swamp.
And they hosted Bunn, who was putting a lot of pressure on the Hawks quarterback early. Bentley Statuich with the sack. And the shirts for Riley Miller, who passed away in a car crash last week. All of the students were wearing it. Quentin Terry with the touchdown. Wildcats end up winning 34-7.
And one more head coach making his debut tonight. Dixon hosted White Oak, the Vikings. Jonathan Bird back at his alma mater. Looking big. You know, he's a big-time weightlifter. And White Oak would come up big as they would score, and they would get the victory over Dixon by the final of 53.
Paul Lenhart had a game.
We're going to show you our play of the day coming up right after the breaks. Stay with us. We're going to show it to you now because Justin Benton is going to score in our Vidant Wellness Center play of the day.